Hello YouTube, this is actually my very first YouTube video and I'm coming to you guys for help and support because I know that when you guys get behind a video, you can really make it go viral. You guys get the attention that it needs. You share it and you share it and you share it. So I'm hoping that today with my video, you guys will do the same. I want to appeal to everybody, especially other parents out there, because I know that all parents just want what's best for their children, regardless of what's going on. You just want to make sure that your kids are always okay, taken care of, and safe. I ask that while you're listening to my video that you understand that it's hard for me to talk about, so my voice may crack, I may get teary-eyed, I may cry, I may just get choked up all the way around, but please just kind of bear with me. I really hope nobody can relate, but I do hope that I do touch your heartstrings and you guys help me like I'm trying to help my son. I want to start by saying my son was 5 at the time of this incident, and he was attending pre-K at Lee Street Elementary School. Lee Street Elementary School is located here in Georgia and is part of the Clayton County Public school system. And on April 1st of 2011, I received a phone call from Lee Street Elementary School's principal, Dr. Watson. And in that phone call, Dr. Watson stated to me that while my son was using the restroom, another student in his pre-K class came into the bathroom, pinned him to the urinal, and attempted to stick his hand up my son's behind. The only reason they realized something was wrong because the teacher conducting the bathroom break said she heard my son screaming. So she went in. When I got to the school to pick my son up, Dr. Watson greeted me, told me he was sorry, he misunderstood, he was misinformed, that the child pinned my son to the urinal and actually was trying to put his head up my son's behind. Yes, head, H-E-A-D. That Friday that the incident took place actually started spring break and a series of nightmarish events for me and my family. The first night home, later on that evening, I got ready to put Willie and his little brother in the tub with their toys like normal. And Willie completely spazzed out on us. He didn't want his little brother in the tub. And I kind of understood because of what had just happened. Maybe he just felt a little uncomfortable. But when I came into the bathroom after getting him fully into the tub, he wouldn't get in while I stayed in the bathroom. He wanted me to get out first so he could get undressed. When I tried to come in and just check on him, maybe make sure he washed behind his ears, cleaned his belly button, toes, face, and all that good stuff, he screamed at me at the top of his lungs, "Mom, get out now. I don't want you in here. Mom, get out, get out, get out." And to kind of calm him down, that's exactly what I did. I got out. The next morning and several other mornings, I found my son asleep on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Willie became very territorial, very aggressive. He just started having violent outlashes, and you couldn't really get him to calm down. When spring break ended and I went back to the school to speak to Dr. Watson again, I asked him for an incident report. And he said that he did not write up anything for Willie's file, but he wrote up the student that did it, and him and the parents of the child were going to be meeting. I could not sit in on that meeting. He was afraid that emotions would run high. And I agree with him because I'm not sure I would have kind of brushed it off. That's neither here nor there. But I expressed also to him my concerns just over the week for Willie's behavior changes just because of spring break and how he was acting. And he said that he didn't really see a problem because Willie and the little boy actually had played together earlier that day. And for those of you with kids, if you know your child has a toy and another child comes and snatches that toy out of their hand, your child may be upset, go get their toy back, but then you look again and they're back playing like nothing ever happened between the two of them. So I didn't feel like there was a justified reason for him to, downplay my concerns for my child. We all know our children. I did continue to ask Dr. Watson about maybe just providing counseling at the school for Willie, just to kind of make sure he was mentally okay because of the things I had seen at home. Even though he hadn't really displayed those same actions at school, it didn't mean we weren't living a nightmare at home. He said that he would arrange counseling services at the school for him for the remainder of the time that they were there. It never took place. I contacted Clayton County School Board, also asking them about an incident report on behalf of my son, and they said that it was left up to the discretion of the principal. So with them writing up the other child and not anything for my son, it's like it never happened to my son. A couple of weeks after the incident, Willie was diagnosed with ADHD. Lack of sitting down in the classroom. He couldn't focus. He couldn't sit down. He couldn't sit still. So they say, that's what prompted him to the ADHD theory. But so close to the incident, I'm not a doctor, but I just kind of wonder, how do those two really go hand in hand? At the end of the pre-K year, I did move so he could go to a different school, still within Clayton County. I did move him. I spoke to the counselor at the new school on opening night for kindergarten and explained to her what had just happened to Willie at Lee Street Elementary. I explained to her about him being diagnosed with the ADHD and everything. And I asked her to just kind of talk to my son because he wasn't as eager to learn as he was prior to the incident. And she stated that she would. His whole entire kindergarten year, no matter how many times I asked her, she never once sat down with my son. And he was hiding his book bag. He was hiding his shoes. He hid every single pair of shoes he had. He hid himself. He hid up under the bed. He hid behind the door. He hid behind the couch. He hid wherever he could hide, thinking he wasn't going to go to school. And it was so bad that one day I actually had to send him to school in mismatched shoes just to get him there. Because he was actually missing days for trying not to go to school, and I just couldn't, some days I couldn't force him because he would cry, "Mommy, I just don't want to go. I just don't want to go." That they referred us to Saturday school, and Saturday school was about truancy and kids not being at school and how it hurts their performance and their progress. So being Willie's parent, knowing his situation, I raised my hand and I asked them, well, what if your child's afraid to go to school? And I spoke his story then. And they, asked me to leave my information, to sign up. They would call me and help with some extra support services and whatever. No, Clayton County still didn't do that. What Clayton County has done is given me a wonderful packet that's called Clayton County Cares. In fact, they care so much, they've given me the same exact packet at least 3 or 4 different times. And what Clayton County Cares is just a packet of shelters, healthcare providers, behavioral health specialists, food banks, and whatnot, basically for me to go through and find him counseling. I had already done that. What were you guys going to do? So with no results from BC Haney, just asking them, to meet with them, my son is just fearful of school. Once again, I moved to another school. Yes, I stayed in the Clayton County school system for 2 reasons. One, they were already not acknowledging them. And considering with the Atlanta public school system, I really didn't have another option. So I was hoping that, maybe if I just found a better school, better people, better staff, somebody that could care and listen, that he would finally get the help that he needed. So we left BC Haney Elementary in Clayton County, and I moved, and he started where he finished his first grade year at a school called Anderson Elementary, still in Clayton County, a whole different side of Clayton County, in fact. And I informed the counselor there of Willie's history. Again, that started at Lee Street. I informed her about his ADHD, gave her paperwork, provided documentation, and I let her know about them starting the student support team because he wasn't performing on grade level. She had me fill out forms so she could pull his file, his records of them starting it. Then 2nd grade year started again. I filled it out again so she could get it. And that was August. February, she called me to tell me she had just received his file. It's February. School ends in 2 months, lady. What's going on? Yeah, they're just in the file. So they just started all the things they were supposed to do. So May 5th, they concluded the SST and gave him an IEP, which is an individual education plan for him to have in place for next year when he re-enters 2nd grade again because he was not on grade level. And what I'm trying to get you guys to see is the constant ball drop. And if you guys are wondering why now, after 2011's incident, I'm just not bringing all this back up into the attention of the world again. This past April, my son was diagnosed with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder for those of you who don't know. And like I said, they called it child exploration. Well, no, my son's having long-term effects now. So he didn't explore anything. He was explored, and he's traumatized. I called Channel 2 when it first happened. I emailed people. I called and I emailed. I called Fox 5 and I emailed. It wasn't newsworthy, I assume, because nobody ever came to try to help or bring light to the situation. Even with the recent incident here in Clayton County, where 5 and 6-year-olds were involved in sexual inappropriate behavior, I brought it back up to the reporter that actually covered the story and brought up Willie's story. And all he cared about was, well, why is it 3 years later? Well, 3 years ago, you didn't care either. So I'm hoping that now he has PTSD, you would care now. And yet and still, no more contact, nothing back. So YouTube, I'm putting it in your hands now. I've prayed, I've asked God to kind of guide us and pretty much just take it from here, because as a parent, I've done all I can do. I've done my part, and somebody else should do theirs. Called the school board back. My son has PTSD now. It's having long-term effects. What are we going to do? And it's just like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Have a good day. If this was your child, what would you do? I'm open to suggestions because I'm kind of all tapped out here. Yes, he gets counseling. Mommy did that. Yes, he's on medication. Mommy did that. But he still expresses a discomfort. Even in 2nd grade now, I'm not comfortable using the bathroom at school, Mommy. And it's hard. My son has busted a child's face open with a pipe. He can't socially really interact with other kids. He can't interact with his little brother. I've had to go to schools, whatever school we were at, and whatever time it happened, and explain a black eye that his brother gave him. He's like, well, he said his brother did him. Like, he's telling you the truth. You didn't do this. Like, it's hard to look people in the face telling them my son has issues. I'm getting him help, but it's really the school system's fault because you guys are failing him. But to have to stand there and say, I didn't black my little boy's eye. My other little boy did it, I didn't put that bruise on my child. My other son did it. And they have to just kind of walk away so they can question my child on their own to make sure that you're not covering for mommy. It's just ridiculous now. I'm sorry, guys. I told you this might happen. I'm really sorry. But it's hard. It really is. It's really, really hard to continue to just watch this and know that all they're doing is sweeping a problem that they allowed to happen, under the rug. No, nobody ever expects this to happen, but the fact of the matter is it did happen, and they need to acknowledge the fact that it happened. And they need to acknowledge the fact that a little boy who's only 8 years old has lost not one, but 3 things. He's lost himself, he's lost his compassion for school, and he's lost his dignity in a sense, because he doesn't act like the same child that I had prior to that day. And I'm asking you guys, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. I told myself I wouldn't do this. I really said I was going to make it through this video. I'm asking you guys to share it, please. The same way we can share fight videos and funny cat videos and all the sweet adorable videos and twerking. I'm asking that you share Willie's story so that they will finally take responsibility for what they allowed to happen. If this was your child, what would you do? Would you just give up? Would you just walk away? Would you just say forget it? Thank you guys for listening.